Hi, I'm Ryan Sisko, the CEO of Amalgam, and today I'm going to demonstrate how we've integrated our insulin titration application, iSage, into electronic health records to support provider workflow. Amalgam is really at the forefront of supporting this transition to remote care that's been accelerated by the pandemic. We're focused on using our technology platform to both build digital solutions and help distribute them. When we talk about our platform, we really think of it as a collection of horizontal modules. Some are patient-facing, some provider-facing, some enterprise-facing. What we do well is stitch them together when we're pointed at a particular business challenge. We can change the content, change the UI, change the business logic, and help solve the needs of patients and providers across multiple therapeutic areas. When you think about Amalgam, we really have four core technologies or products. The first is decision support, where we're helping doctors adhere to evidence-based guidelines. The second is patient ID, where we're helping providers understand which products are right for which patients at which time. Third are our digital solutions, where we're helping providers extend their clinical voice beyond the four walls of the healthcare system and support their patients remotely. And then lastly, our data analytics, where we're taking all of the information about patients that we're gathering, analyzing it, and then using it to move from population-based guidelines to personalized recommendations. Today, we're going to talk about insulin titration. Our solution was really designed to help support type 2 patients on basal insulin. Oftentimes, patients on basal insulin, type 2 patients, don't get to the optimal dose of insulin. There's a lot of challenges, both from a patient and provider perspective. Most of the time in the U.S. healthcare system and across the globe, providers wait till patients come back into the office to change their insulin dose. There are excellent algorithms that can be used to help patients self-manage outside the office. At Amalgam, what we really saw was an opportunity to build a digital solution to help support patients and providers in this process. So we've digitized a number of titration algorithms that a provider can order. Patients can access them in a digital application along with self-management support and education. We're connecting to Bluetooth glucometers and CGM and dose capture devices to really simplify and streamline the entire experience. One of the huge differentiators, though, is we're making it easy for providers to access these tools directly in their workflow, help them understand which patients these are right for, use one-click ordering, and then bring data back into the EHR so they can optimize care. So I'm going to run through a quick demonstration. What I'm showing you now is the Athena EHR. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, Athena has a dedicated real estate for decision support, and Amalgam's rules engine gets plugged right into the EHR. We can also do similar things in Epic, Cerner, and Allscripts. When we're integrated, we can see everything about the patient. So this patient has diabetes and hypertension. We can see her current medication. She's on 3 diabetes meds. We can even see her latest lab results. So her last A1C was 9, or it was above target. What happens is when a provider adds anything to the order, that's where there's a handshake between Athena and Amalgam, and we have an opportunity to present the provider with decision support. In this case, you can see we're showing the provider 2 rules. The first is the patient has a high A1C and they should consider adding a 4th medication. This recommendation comes from the American Diabetes Association. You can see this chart we just linked out to that shows how doctors should intensify medications for patients with diabetes. We can also show specific products that might be relevant. So let's say, for example, Lantus is the preferred basal insulin on the patient's insurance formulary. The provider can click apply, and we write Lantus into the order for the doctor. Once we know the patient's starting on basal insulin, it becomes a perfect time for us to recommend our solution, iSage, to help reinforce the provider's treatment plan. When the provider clicks on enroll, we do a single sign-on into our application, iSage. This is where the provider, we bring over all of the enrollment data for the patient, the insulin, the algorithm they're using. The provider can make any changes that they want to for the patient. But when they hit prescribe, the patient's going to get a text message with instructions on how to download the application. When they access the application, we will help support them and manage their insulin dose longitudinally. If I were to fast forward 90 days, though, when the patient comes back into the office, the reverse path is also possible. So we can take all of the data that we're capturing in the application, we can bring it back into the EHR, and we can analyze it. So, for example, if we saw that a patient's mealtime, their insulin, their blood sugars at dinner were high, we might make a recommendation to the doctor that the patient needs mealtime insulin. So we can bring the doctor the patient's logbook, we can highlight data that is sort of suggestive of making changes, we can show evidence-based guidelines, and it's how we start to move from population-based guidelines to personalized medicine. We are focused not only on developing these solutions, but scaling them and scaling them globally. We've announced a partnership with Novo Nordisk where we'll be operating on upwards of 4 continents here in 2022. So we're really excited about our ability to actually reach patients and support them and have them work with their providers to get to the right dose of insulin. So thank everyone for their time today and look forward to taking questions.